distribution and abundance of organisms, their interactions with other organisms, and their interactions with their physical environment. The following terms provide a foundation for the study of ecology. A community is a group of populations living in the same area. An ecosystem describes the interrelationships between the organisms in a community and their physical environment. The biosphere is composed of all the regions of the earth that contain living things. This generally includes the top few meters of soil, the oceans and other bodies of water, and the lower 10 kilometers of the atmosphere. The habitat of an organism is the type of place where it usually lives. A description of the habitat may include other organisms that live there, often the dominant vegetation, as well as the physical and chemical characteristics of the environment, such as temperature, soil quality, or water salinity. The niche of an organism describes all the biotic and abiotic resources in the environment used by an organism. When an organism is said to occupy a particular niche, it means that certain resources are consumed or certain qualities of the environment are changed in some way by the presence of the organism.
Community ecology is concerned with the interaction of population. One form of interaction is interspecific competition between species. It occurs when members of different species try to use a resource such as light, space, or nutrients that is in limited supply. If the resource is not in limited supply, there is no competition. The following concept describes the various ways in which competition is resolved. The competitive exclusion principle, Gauss principle, is when two species compete for exactly the same resources. One is likely to be more successful. As a result, one species outcompetes the other, and eventually the second species is eliminated. The competitive exclusion principle, formulated by G.F. Gauss, states that no two species can sustain coexistence if they occupy the same niche. Resource partitioning. Some species coexist in spite of apparent competition for the same resources. Close study, however, reveals that they occupy slightly different niches by pursuing slightly different resources or securing their resources in slightly different ways. Individuals minimize competition and maximize success. Dividing up the resource in this manner is called resource partitioning. An example of resource partitioning involving owl and hawk populations. Owls and hawks feed on similar prey, small rodents, but owls are nocturnal hunters and hawks are diurnal hunters. What would have been one niche became two more specialized niches because of divergence of behavior. It is possible for the process of niche specialization in nature. Character displacement, niche shift, is a result of resource partitioning. Certain characteristics may enable individuals to obtain resources in their portions more successfully. Selections for the characteristics reduces competition with individuals and other portions and lead to divergence of features or character displacement. Character displacement is often used as evidence that competition and resource partitioning have taken place. Realized niche. The niche that an organism occupies in the absence of competing species is its fundamental niche. Fundamental niche comprises all conditions under which the organism can potentially survive and reproduce. When competitors are present, however, one or both species may be able to coexist by occupying their realized niche. The realized niche is a set of conditions under which it exists in nature. Predation is another form of community interaction. In a general sense, a predator is any animal that totally or partially consumes a plant or another animal. More specifically, predators can be categorized as follows. A true predator kills and eats another animal. A parasite spends most or all of its life living on another organism, the host, obtaining nourishment from the host by feeding on its tissue. Although the host may be weakened by the parasite, the host does not usually die until the parasite has completed at least one life cycle, though usually many more. A parasitoid is an insect that lays its egg on a host, usually an insect or spider. After the eggs hatch, the larvae obtain nourishment by consuming the tissues of the host. The host eventually dies, but not until the larvae complete their development and begin pupation. Probably the best known example of a parasitoid is the braconid wasp. This wasp uses a piercing ovipositioner to lay her eggs in the body of a tomato or tobacco hornworm. When the larvae emerge from the eggs, they feed on the caterpillar's body. The larvae eventually chew their way through the caterpillar's skin and pupate on its body. A hornworm infested with braconid wasps will be covered in tiny white cocoons. The adult braconid wasps emerge from the cocoons, leaving a dead hornworm behind. This is an example of the braconid wasp. This is what you will find on a hornworm's body when it is dead. An herbivore is an animal that eats plants. Some herbivores, especially seed eaters, granivores, act like predators in that they totally consume the organism. Other animals, such as those that eat grasses, grazers, or leaves of other plants, browsers, may eat only part of the plant but may weaken in the process.
Symbiosis, an intimate relationship between two or more species, is commonly found in any community. The three types of symbiosis are parasitism, commensalism, and mutualism. Mutualism is a relationship in which both species benefit.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me.
In commensalism, one species benefits while the second species is neither helped nor harmed.
Ever since I met you, I can't let you go. You make me happy.
In parasitism, the parasite benefits from the living arrangement while the host is harmed.
Community ecology is if the resource is not in limited supply. I just touched my hair. The following concepts. The competition. The competitive exclusion principle, formulated by G.F. Gause, states that no two species can any animal that from the tote left. Other animals such okay. Is the bronx. It's a hard word. Is the bronx. This is an example of a. Stop it. Why is it so dark? Of a parasitoid is the
Within the protective tentacles of sea anemones, and in return for what? That's a hard word. Population is a group of darn it.
Okay, do you stop recording or?
I can't get that word.